Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the unboxing and have a first look at this new Motorola Moto g73 5G smartphone, which is a new mid-range smartphone by Motorola. And as you can see here, it says that it has Dolby Atmos. This one is supposed to have a stereo speakers, and it says camera 50 megapixel with ultra pixel. What they are talking about the camera is that this is having a 2 micron pixel. So we'll also look at the camera, and let's have a look. And this smartphone is supposed to be the first smartphone in India that comes with the new MediaTek Dimensity 930 chipset. We have seen a lot of smartphones with 920. This is the 930. That's first time in India with this smartphone, and this is actually a true 5G chipset. In fact, both the SIM slots are supposed to be 5G, and again it works with Airtel, Jio. It has NSA, SA support and all those things. So here is the device, and like typical Motorola devices, we do get the case that is pre-installed. So it's that rubbery TPU case that you are getting. So here is the device, and again that plastic back that you are getting. Interesting thing is that we only have 2 cameras, but the good thing is that the cameras actually work. We also have ultra wide, we also have depth sensor, we also have macro, and apart from the regular camera. So no gimmicks of 3 or 4 cameras. So I'm finally, since it's coming to the smartphone industry, let's not do gimmicks of having 3 or 4. We can do a lot of stuff with the 2 cameras. So here is the device. In fact, it's not that heavy. It's supposed to be just 181 grams. It has a 5000 milliamp hour battery, and again it says 5G ready over here. Of course, yeah, this is having 120 hertz display, but it's IPS display. But again, the good thing is that it's actually a variable display. It can move between 30 hertz to 120 hertz. So that's actually a nice thing. So this is the device itself. Let's see what else do we get in the box. So some paperwork and all those things, and there'll be a SIM ejector tool. We do get a charger. This is supposed to be a 30-watt charger in the box, and what do you say, type C to type C cable. So that's actually nice. So I'll just keep that to the side for now. And with that 5000 milliamp hour battery and the Dimensity 930, it should give good battery life, because the past smartphones that I've used with Dimensity 920 were very good. It's based on 6 nanometer process. Let me give you a physical overview. On the top we have a secondary noise cancellation microphone, and on this end, the top we have the volume rocker. This is the power on off button, and looks like the fingerprint scanner is embedded into this one. Bottom will be the vent for the speaker. Again, as I've told you, stereo speakers, and also supposed to have Dolby Atmos. Type C port, main microphone. Fortunately, we are getting a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is becoming a rarity these days. So here is the SIM tray, and let me just pop this out. We do get a rubber gasket. Yes, this is supposed to be IP52. So we are having a hybrid slot on this one, so that's actually nice. Back, as I've told you, dual camera setup. The main camera is a 50 megapixel. They say it's ultra pixel or whatever we look at it, and the second camera is actually a combination of ultra wide. It also has auto focusing, so it can also do that macro and even depth. So we'll look at the camera. Interesting configuration that we have. So this is the device itself. Let me do one thing. Let me actually just set this up, and then we will continue. So guys, I've set up the phone and I've used it for an hour or so. So let me give you my initial impressions. What do I feel about this one? And this has a 6.5-inch full HD plus IPS LCD screen. And again, it's a 120 hertz display that you are getting. Again, typical Motorola UI on the left. You have the Google pane, and again, it comes out of the box with Android 13. And I've noticed some new improvements. They have added some new softwares. Let me actually first show you. If you go to this, and typical what is a stock Android kind of an experience that you're getting. Good thing is that this, if you notice, also has NFC, and even Dolby Atmos is also there on this one. So these are some of the new things that I noticed. Generally, we don't find NFC these days in this price range, but yeah, that's what it is. And I've changed the color theme to the dark theme, guys. And if you see, scrolling is very, very fluid, because if you go to the display, and if I go to display refresh rate, default it's at auto, and I would suggest that you just leave it on auto, because it's adaptive. Based on the content, it can move between various up to between 30 hertz to 120 hertz. But I'm just forcing it to 120 hertz all the time to see how this smartphone handles, and the processor 930 Dimensity handles. And moving to the processor on this one, as I've told you, it is having the new MediaTek Dimensity 930 chipset. This is also actually a octa-core processor. I actually ran ran some benchmarks, so let me just show you. And this is Geekbench 6, and as you can see, we got some very good scores. Single core 902 and for multi-core 2275. These are actually pretty good scores. You can also download Geekbench 6 on your smartphone to gauge an idea of what's the performance of your existing smartphone. I also ran Antutu, and here we got a score of close to about 4,21,000. And again, I also feel that the GPU on this one is actually pretty good, because I did play a little bit of Call of Duty. As you can see, I could actually play it at very high settings, and then also if you notice, the gameplay is actually very fluid. So even for gaming, it's actually pretty decent. And typical Motorola UI that you are getting, it runs on Android 13. Let me actually show you. If you go to about the device, in fact, I already got one OTA update. I applied it. As you can see, Android 13 that you are getting on this one. So that's actually a nice thing. And I noticed that the haptic motor is very strong on this one. They have put a new type of haptic motor, so haptics are pretty strong on this device. Now coming to the software, as I've told you, with Android 13, Motorola has added some new softwares, and I was noticing, first thing that I really liked is that they have this thing called Moto Secure. Again, this also has ThinkShield, and many of the Motorola earlier phones also had ThinkShield, but here you can actually tweak a lot of things. For example, you can have secure folders if you want. Network protection is for Wi-Fi security. Let's say you are on a public Wi-Fi or something, you might not want certain apps to be accessed on a public Wi-Fi. Let's say I have my banking app. Let's just assume that Gmail is my banking app, and I don't want it to be accessed on public Wi-Fi, so I can disable stuff like that. So these are some of the things that are added. So this is a nice thing that you have. Again, you also have lock screen security. So this is actually a nice thing. So you can tweak a lot of stuff over here. That's what I pin scramble. Again, if you notice, we sometimes unlock via pin, and if I use the pin scramble, I have just kept the password as 1 2 3 4. The keypad actually changes every time if you use this pin scramble. So these are some of the things that are done, and I feel this is Moto Secure is a nice option where you have all the things. Also, of course, you have the privacy dashboard about your, and also the security and all this thing, permission manager. So they have consolidated everything in this one, so I like this. Another new app that I noticed is called this family family space, and this is great. Again, you can create it. I just created one profile as kids. You can just create a new space, let's say for elders or whatever like that, and I've just created for kids, and while you set it up, it asks you what apps are allowed. For example, I've allowed just 3 apps, and if you start this, it'll change the UI, and you can also specify, let's say you're giving to your kid or whatever, okay, I'll give you this phone to play for only 15 minutes. So again, a timer will also start automatically, and let's say you have given it to your kids, only the apps that you have selected, I've just selected these 3 apps are available, and the timer is also there, and after this time is expired, they can't use the device. So, and they can't get out of this. Again, to get out of the screen time, I have logged it with my fingerprint like this, and now I can get out. So these are some of the new things that they have added. Again, fingerprint scanner is here. It's the side mounted one, and again, as most side mounted fingerprint scanners, it's very fast, and also gives you like haptic feedback when you unlock it. So that is working very well. Apart from that, I also noticed this called Motorola notification. I didn't sign up for this one. It asks you for sign up. I didn't do that. And again, these are the apps that are preloaded on the device. I did not notice any extra bloatware. Yes, Facebook was there. Let's see if we can uninstall that also. If I go to app info, uninstall. Okay, when I was just setting up the phone for the first time, this screen came up, and I disabled these first 2 options, enhanced device support, because it says get customized support and recommendations for your device. So I had disabled these 2. I left the smart update, so this was what I got. I didn't get any extra bloatware apart from those new Motorola apps. So that's what it is. And again, as a mid-range device, it's performing well. Again, as you can see, it's 120 Hertz, and typical Motorola close to stock Android experience that you're getting. Definitely the haptic feedback is a lot better. I feel they changed the motor on this one, so it's a lot more stronger, I feel. In India, this will be only sold in one variant that comes with 8 GB of RAM. It's LPDDR 4x RAM, and 128 gigabytes of storage. And guys, here are all the specs for the variant that will be sold in India. And as I've told you, again, works both with Jio 5G and Airtel 5G. In fact, it supports 13 bands of 5G. So in fact, in terms of specs, I would say it's good. And also it does support carrier recognition and 4x4 MIMO. And also in terms, this was strange, in Bluetooth also, they have put in the latest version of Bluetooth, that is Bluetooth 5.3. Generally what we see in this price range devices, they generally give Bluetooth 5 or 5.2. Now moving to the speakers, let me just give you an idea. Let's just test that. So this is the max volume, guys. I'll block this. It's coming from here. So the stereo speaker is done well, and of course, as I've told you, this one also does support Dolby Atmos, and you can actually customize Dolby Atmos and other stuff from here. If you just hold it, you can customize this. I would suggest if you're buying this phone, run this Dolby Atmos initial setup for the first time. Again, typical Motorola UI that you're getting on this one. I did not notice any extra ads or something in the notification or anything as of now on this one. And the screen looks to be good. It's actually pretty bright screen, guys. If you notice, I've kept it on pretty low brightness, so if I keep it on high brightness, it's just going really bright. Though yeah, it's an IPS LCD screen, not an AMOLED screen, but it looks like a good quality screen. And also the refresh rate, it has that 120 hertz refresh rate. Coming to the Android updates, I checked with Motorola because this is a review unit, and out of the box, as I've told you, this comes with luckily Android 13, and this will also get the Android 14 update, they told me, and next 3 years of security updates. That's regarding the update what they have mentioned. Now moving to the camera, the main camera is that 50 megapixel, and I feel this is actually a little bit special, not that the regular 15 megapixel or 48 megapixel. This, if you notice, even in the box they say that this is actually having that ultra pixel technology. So what does this mean? In fact, the pixels on these are actually a lot bigger, in fact 2 microns in size, which is actually huge because generally we don't see these sort of cameras in this price range. Generally Motorola, if I recall, their earlier generation H30 Pro had the ultra pixel camera. So what this does is that's actually because of the higher 2 micron pixel, it lets in a lot of light, and that improves the photography even when the lighting is a little bit dull. I'll show you that in the samples later on. Now looking at the camera again, I won't spend too much time on the UI. I'll just show you the samples, but just to show you, this is the 1x, that is the using the main 50 megapixel camera, and we also have this ultra wide, that is 0.5x, and this also does the job of macro. In fact, I like that instead of giving the 3 or 4 cameras, they have bundled a lot of functionality in the second camera, and not only it has auto focusing, ultra wide, but can also do that macro stuff. So let me do one thing, and again, yeah, the front facing camera, I completely forgot, this is a 16 megapixel front facing camera that we are having. And let me do one thing, let me actually show you some of the sample shots taken with this device. Let's start with the rear facing camera, and outdoors, as you can see, it's doing a good job. This is the regular shot, and this was that ultra wide, and you also have that natural bokeh that you can get very easily with the main camera, as you can see with these sample shots. Also, I like the color accuracy. It's not over boosting the colors like many smartphones do. Colors are very close to the reality, and again, I like this shot. It was a difficult, but it did a good job. These were taken in the evening just before the sunset. Again, regular shot, and this was that ultra wide. Now for moving to some human subjects, again, as you can notice, the skin tones are actually produced very well. These were regular shots taken with the rear facing camera, and now I enabled the portrait mode. The portrait mode, you can adjust the bokeh, and I would suggest you reduce it a little bit because the default is too high. This was the regular shot, and this was macro. I could go close up quite a bit. Now for the front facing camera, overall the pictures are very good, but I feel it's slightly over sharpened, but when we move to the portrait bokeh mode, these were produced actually very well. The front facing camera of this Moto G73, and I'm recording at the default resolution, and the audio is also being captured by the mic. There might be a lot of noise because of the fountains in the background, but this is a quick sample with the front facing camera of this Moto G.
73 smartphone.
So guys, this is the Motorola G73 smartphone. What do you guys think about this? And regarding the pricing of this smartphone, again guys, you know that in 2023 pricing of all the smartphones has increased. Luckily, this one is not going bonkers, way bonkers in pricing. The MRP pricing of this one is supposed to be 19,000, but as you can see from the screenshot, they have some offers. I don't know the exact bank of which credit cards it is, but if you have bank credit cards, you get instant 2,000 rupees off, and some other offers are also there as given on the screen. So effectively you can get this for about 17,000, and I feel if you are looking for a decent mid-range 5G capable smartphone which has 5G functionality on both the SIMs, and also it's good for multimedia stuff because it has that stereo speakers and everything, and overall a rounded device which is close to stock Android experience, then you can certainly have a look at this Moto G73. But what do you guys feel about this one? Do let me know in the comment section below. Anyways guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.